Going on, everybody? It's JacobViral. First official part of a wall build that I'm working on. So I'm going to be doing a huge process step by step. It's going to take a lot of videos. I'd say 7 to 8 videos, you never know, and show you the process it takes for me to get the wall build. So I've never built walls for anybody else. I've done a wall build myself twice, so I have some experience. And of course, this is just my knowledge and how I've done it. So to start, my last build was a single 12. If you watched the last video, go ahead and check that out as well. You can see my previous build and all my other builds too. I took out my system that was in here, and this is where I'm at. So I already have a wood roof, so this is already an advantage for me. I already done a 6-step video you can check out on my second channel, JacobViral 2. Link in the description. I'll make sure y'all can see that for how I did this wood roof. So this is already an advantage for me because I'm going to be able to structure my side panels off of my wood roof here. So my wood roof will be able to structure off of my roof for the side panels. So before that, just want to say thank y'all for watching. Let me know if y'all like this kind of stuff. Hit the like button that shows it, as well as comment. And if you're not subscribed, welcome to the channel. Subscribe and see my daily videos. And of course, this video series as well for builds. So to start, anybody that's wanting to do a wall build, the first thing you got to know is if you want to do it, don't worry about looks at first. You want to focus on optimal space. So what I mean by that is I have this, by the way, anybody watching, this jack is here to keep my roof braced up here. So anyway, back to it. First thing is optimal space. What I mean by that is I took out all of my panels. I have everything out, my carpet's out, all of that's out of my enclosure or my vehicle cabin, because what's going to happen is from here back, from my B pillar back, because I'm doing a B pillar. If you do a C pillar, which would be behind the back seats, same concept. Optimize your space. So I didn't take out wood that I already have mounted that I'll use to reference from for my mounting, but that is the first thing you want to consider with this, is make sure you have optimal space, and then from there you can kind of calculate what space you have. So right now I'm looking like having my length and width of my box is going to be around 44 to 48 inches wide. The height is going to be between, my height here is going to be between 42 and 44 inches for height on this end. This end is going to be minus 8 to 10 inches depending on how I do my baffles and my bracing and all of that, how much wood thickness I go with. And then of course the overall depth is going to be right around 60 to 65 inches depth from the front here. And for me to be able to know that is I'd actually get my B pillars here. So I'd measure from there to go back, but I'm not going to do all that on camera because I already know it. I know it in my head. It just depends on how far back I want to go with my amp rack. So that goes another thing you got to think about with doing this is make sure you know where your amp rack is going to be. What do I mean by that is what's your depth going to be of your amp rack here. So you don't want to have you don't want to close it in too much, but you also don't want to go in too far because you're going to lose, especially if you're trying to get as much space as possible. And my goal out of this last build I had right at 46 cubes net of enclosure space to work with. My goal this one is between 55 and 60 cubes net. It might be a little less than that, but that's what I'm aiming for. It's always good to set high tolerance goals. So next thing, I got my wires ran, so that's a big plus. So once you got everything pretty much staged, everything emptied out, you know your specs, you kind of can figure out your length, width, height, depth. Then it goes into finding mounting locations. So that goes into why I left all of my mounting bolts here that came out of my seat. I'm going to use those for my actual mount location for my bottom plate that I'm going to use for birchwood. I have 3/4 birch. I'll show you my material in a minute. So you don't decide on how much material you need until you have a pretty much idea of how much space you need. So that's what I did. I first figured out my measurements, my lengths. Also, I'm going to be using 2x6s and 2x4s. 2x4s and 2x6s as my panels. I'm not going to be doing a steel cage. This is going to be just all wood. So anybody really can do this if you have the money, time, effort, skills, as well as just the willpower to do it, and tools. So got my mount locations in. Every vehicle's different, but the concept's the same. Also, you can see from my previous build, I used a lot of screw holes. Sadly, you can't take them and patch them without welding or filling them. So that's how I actually mounted here, was just using some heavy duty screws that went through into my panel, which is how I mount some of the wood as well to the floor. But since I have a wood roof as well, I'm going to be actually staging it. You'll see in the next video, or next videos to come, on the steps on that. So next thing, after I know my mounting location and I have that in my idea brain, I calculated all of the wood that I needed. So I need, based on all my specs I just told you, I needed 18 2x6s, I need 12 2x4s, and I need 6 sheets of birch to get me through everything. So let's go to my trailer right here. That's what I got. I've got all my 2x4s, all my 2x6s, and my 6 sheets of birch here, all on my trailer. So everything is ready and locked and loaded. All in my trailer. I'm going to load up and start measuring, cut sheet, and all of that. So just wanted to put that on the camera so y'all can see that I actually have all the material already. And then for the screws, the kind of screws I use. So keep in mind, guys, and this and girls watching, this is just me. I'm not best at building this stuff. Excuse me, but it's fun and I enjoy it. And then I got my screws I'm going to use. I'm going to use a 2.5 inch, 2 inch, and 1 5/8 is my lengths that I usually use for my build, for previous builds I've done. And that's what I got for material. So you know your material you need after you get your measurements. Don't buy material until afterward. Also your budget, of course. And you'll be surprised at how much space you can get in a vehicle if you gut it like I did. And it's not the only option, but that's the way I did it. So now that I got that all in place, I'll see y'all in a second, and I'll start showing you how I lay out my, I'll cut this off and I'll show you in the next clip here in this video. I'll show you how I start structuring my bottom floor plate here. So, but before that, I also got to get my wires ran. So that's another big one you got to consider, is where's your wires going to run for your power and your ground. So I have 2 grounds run straight to the alternator. So these 2 runs are running straight to my alternator for the big 4. And then I have 4 runs of 0 gauge OFC rated at 350 amps. So all my wires rated at 350. OFC is always better when you go out exposed to the weather, just my experience. You can do CCA too. But I have holes here. It looks really ugly, I'm telling you, but guys, just enjoy the video. So that's where I'm gonna run my wire. I'm probably gonna clean that up. I might run another one, and then my grounds are gonna be here. Since I had a no wall before, I ran them down there in those 2, but since I'm going to the wall build again, I gotta rerun my wire. I have enough length to run my grounds all the way back here. So my amp rack is gonna start about right here. So I'm gonna have a panel. You'll see in the next steps on the upcoming videos, but that's how it's gonna be. So anyway, that's the plan on the wire. I'm gonna get that done before the next clip that you'll see in a second in the same video. And then I'll show you how I work on the structure on the floor. And that'll be it for the part 1. Let me know if you have questions. Hit the like button, like I said, and let me know y'all enjoy this. Don't make fun of anything or be criticizing in a negative way. There's so many different ways you can build something, and this is the way I do it. I make it work on a budget with what I got. So I'll see you in a second with everything completed that I just mentioned. I'm back. Just completed my floor structure in the front as well as my wire relocation. So now I have my wires for my 2 grounds coming to the alternator, and then my 4 runs of power ran to the front battery and alternator, battery, not alternator, sorry. And then my structure in the front I'll talk about in a second. So that's about it for step 1. Just give you a little rundown of what I did here that I didn't show on camera. And I'm kind of doing these steps step by step so y'all can kind of keep track with how this goes. Every build is different. You could also use 2x4s, 2x6s, any form of structured steel or wood formality in order to mount to any vehicle for a wall. I personally use the actual seat mounts. So there was like 6 bolted locations where my seat came from, and I used 3 of them. I could have put the 4th one I did last wall there, but I said I'm going to keep it out since it's close to the port this time. So I have 3 structures. This is braced down into the factory locations of the seat mount with these bolts, 3/4 inch bolts that were included in the vehicle when the seat came out. So I structured those down with the 3/4 inch piece of birch. So one of my first wall builds, I used 2x4s and just layered it down, but I'm trying to get the most space I can out of this. So this right here is literally my bottom of my box. It's gonna be 1 layer, 3/4 inch birch. A lot of people normally do 2 or 3 baffle. Highly recommend doing 2 or 3 baffle. I personally won't, because I'm gonna make sure this sucker's braced really well, and it's not gonna flex or move by the time I'm done with it. But I wanna get the most space, and if I add an extra whole birch piece of wood there, that'll literally take out probably 1/4 or half a cube, so I don't wanna take anything out. Anyway, so that's it for that. The step 1, not step 1, but video 1. just about done now. So thanks for watching. Like, stay tuned for the next steps, and you'll see as I get going. So I'll see you on the next one. This is JacobViral out. Definitely a lot of work to do. Last thing I guess I'll end with is this took me about 4 hours to do, just this part. Try to give you all time frame of everything too. So 4 hours to get this floor ready and done. Next part, stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? This is JacobViral, ending this video to say thank you for watching my videos. Every single day I have a daily cardio video I upload. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and I'll see you tomorrow.